Hey guys, Cal from Team ChainBlock here, and today I'm back at you again with a new deck profile. A deck I've been testing, hopefully in preparation for the next format. Hopefully the cards in here don't get hit. But before we check it out, make sure you check out Kong's cards and use ChainBlock 5 for 5% off. Make sure you nab yourself a nice 5% discount on hopefully a Fiendsmith package that can get you through the next format when you cry about your Snake Eyes cards getting banned. But yeah, getting straight into the main deck. I got first at locals with this, then I got second at locals, and then I just bubbled at the OTS as well. Kind of got a couple of rough hands. I'll explain what cards I'll probably cut and what kind of mistakes were made in the deck building process as I'm going along. But to start things off, we have 3 Magical Musketeer Starfire. So if you haven't guessed already, this is a Fiendsmith Magical Musketeer deck. Very much inspired by Dinkan. At the most recent, I think it was the Euros he competed with this at. And it's very heavily inspired by said player. Very good deck building choices, and I kind of agree with his logic on it. Then I have 3 Magical Musketeer Casper. And the 1 Magical Musketeer Doc. Now, here's one thing. With Doc, I genuinely don't think it really matters which name you play here, as long as it's not Yugioh. I think I might start testing out with Kid Brave because it might just come up a little bit more than Doc does. But we'll see in the future. But that's all the names that we're playing in the main. And then we play one of each of Cross Domination, Dancing Needle, Last Stand, and Desperado. So each of these have their own effects. So starting off with Magical Musketeer Starfire here, they all have the same effect, by the way. You can all activate the Magical Musket cards from the hand during each player's turn. And then Starfire, when a card is activated in her column, it has to be a spell trap card activated in her column. She can special summon another musket name from the deck. Casper, when a spell trap is activated in his column, he can add one of the magical musket spells or traps from the deck to the hand. And then Doc adds any magical musket card from the graveyard back to the hand. So yeah, pretty useful cards. Then we have Desperado, which if I control a magical musket, target plays a card in the field, destroy it. Last Stand, which is basically solemn. If a spell trap card is activated while I control the name, obviously, I can negate and destroy it. Dancing Needle is target 3 names in either player's graveyard and banish them. And then Cross Domination is a target face a monster on the field until the end of his turn. Until the end of this turn, its attack and defense are 0. Also, its effects are negated. So that's pretty much it for the Magical Musket engine. And then we have a couple of cards that kind of synergize with it, being Link into the Vrains. This card if you haven't seen how this card interacts, when you activate it, when you have one of these in hand, basically I just summon this and then immediately link it off, which means you can link it off into the Magical Musketeer Max, and your opponent cannot respond to its unsummon effects, which is absolutely busted. Because if you haven't read Magical Musketeer Max yet, I'll put a picture up on the screen. You should give it a good read. It's a very, very good card. But now getting into the Fiendsmith engine, we have the 3 Fiendsmith engravers. I couldn't get these in time for the OTS. Shout out TJ from Team Sweetness for lending them to me. He's very trustworthy. I had to make sure I carried these in pretty much a Kaiba-like briefcase walking around. Because I did not want the hassle of trying to pay him off for 2 other engravers that I just didn't have the money for at the time. The one Fable Lure to go with it. I opted to play 2 Tracked, 1 Sanked. In Dinkan's list, he played 3 of each of these, but I just felt that Tracked is easily cuttable if you have the 2, especially if you have 3 engraver in the deck. And Sanked, honestly, I personally probably just cut this all together and probably just add something infinitely better. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Fiendsmith package. And what I found very interesting is that it incorporates a lot of different packages into this deck. So we got to play the Unchained Soul of Shavara and the Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. And these cards are very, very nice to end on. Especially if you can get this off, set this, and then be able to link your opponent's monsters off into an SP. That is incredible. It caught a lot of people off guard as well, this deck. I'll explain to you why when I get to that portion of the video. Then we play 1 Diabolica because it's part of the combo. I'll upload a combo video to demonstrate how good it actually is in the combo. But being able to recycle your engravers and stuff back is kind of what that does for you. We play 3 copies of Mulchari Perulia. I opted to play this in the main simply because in this deck we're playing a blind second. I know a lot of people opted to go first with this, but I think it's a perfect blind second deck, and being able to access 3 copies of Mulcharmy is absolutely key to seeing your board breakers. Next we have 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet, 3 copies of Ultimate Slayer. Now these are our absolute gems of cards, and I have to say, shout out to Sean Kinsa from the channel. He told me to be on Ultimate Slayer for this weekend, and I'm telling you, it actually, every person I dropped this against, it absolutely muked their board, absolutely murked them. It was so funny. I also had one guy as well who I was playing against when I opted to go I won dice roll, opted to go second. He built his board for Tempai. I just dropped a Dark Ruler, and my man was shook. He was shook. He couldn't wrap his head around the fact that I just activated Dark Ruler. Forbidden Droplet, we all know what that does, and Ultimate Slayer. I'll show you the Ultimate Slayer targets now in a minute. And then we play double Tactic Thrust with the 1 talents, and then we have a Call by the Grave, and then to finish it off we have 2 Foolish Burial Goods and the 1 Black Goat Last. Shout out Sean Kinson for lending me the Black Goat Last as well. But yeah, I actually really like this in certain matchups, because if I'm playing against Tempai, funny enough, I can actually cut these 2 out and then set the Black Goat Last off the Thrust if they hand trap me. And then that way I can activate it and call Chandra. That came up once, and it was very, very funny, because it just ended on pretty much nothing. So that's it for the main deck. 43 from what I can remember. Getting into the extra deck now. Pretty standard for Fiendsmith. We have the 1 Appaloosa, have the access code for breaking boards, Anguish for breaking boards, Soul of Rage for an extra interruption on going first, Lord of Yama to access all your engine, SP Lil Knight, the Sequence, the Requiem. Obviously every card in the deck is a Life Fiend if you didn't notice. The 1 Magical Musketeer Max, the absolute broken card in the deck. MVP. So basically, this card, if it's link summoned, you can add magical musket spells and traps with different names from your deck to the hand, up to the number of monsters your opponent controls. Or you can special summon magical musket names from the deck, equal to the number of spell and traps your opponent controls. So this is absolutely broken if this resolves. And 9 times out of 10, if you have linked to the range, it's going to resolve. Yeah, there's nothing they can do about it. All they can try and do, I've had someone try clear off as much of their board as possible, but then I just ended up coming through and just killing them with the access code. So it didn't really help in his favour. The Deity High King Caesar, the 1 Desiree, 1 Necro-Equipped Princess, 1 Air Leader, and 1 Lacrima. Oh, sorry. And this card here, the Golden Cloud Beast. So basically, my best targets for my Ultimate Slayer, because everyone ends on pretty much either links, fusions, or synchros. This, I don't really care about this. Well, I caught a few people out who were like trying to, who, funny enough, were trying to turn skip me with the Calamity. But they didn't. They were waiting until I activated something in the main phase to use the effect of the Crimson Dragon. So what I do is I do Ultimate Slayer, dump this, and then that sends the Crimson Dragon, and this will activate to bounce something else back to hand as well. So it's pretty handy. I send Appaloosa to get rid of Appaloosas, and I send Desiree to get rid of any fusions that might be an issue. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with how the extra deck performed. I don't think I'll change anything. It's very tight anyway, but I don't think there's anything I'd really change, to be honest with you. And then I'll get into the side deck, because this came up a lot. 3 Spooky Dogwood, best card in the format. Euros proved that. 3 Drawn Lockbird. This card is absolutely atrocious. I don't know why. I was possessed to play this. I last minute cut 3 cards to put this in. I can't remember what 3 cards it was now off the top of my head, but I'm absolutely snapping that I did, because this card, every time I sighted it in, I either didn't see it or it did absolutely nothing. The Duster and 2 Cyclones, these were okay. Came up actually a lot because I played against 2 White Forest players, 1 Runic and then 1 of the Toy Box ones, so came up when they needed to. I played 1 DDG and double Dimensional Barrier. This was mainly for branded or any other deck that utilizes the graveyard if I came up against another 2-element player, because I hate that deck. And then 3 evenly matched to grasp myself another board wipe if I know I haven't got OTK in hand. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile itself. I'll show you now what you'd actually cut in the deck, to be honest. Honestly, you can absolutely cut out Doc for either Kid Brave or Wild. Ideally, you'd go Kid Brave, but Wild isn't actually too bad either. This card is atrocious. Don't play this one. This one's terrible. This never came up. And you could relegate the Mul Charmies to the side and just make it a straight 40, and then just immediately cut out the 3 Droll Mockbirds, a terrible hand trap. So yeah, that's the biggest change I'll probably make though, is cut the 3 Droll from the side, put the Mul Charmies on the side, and then play with a 40 card deck. More consistency is always key. Don't put them back in there. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the deck profile. Stay tuned, because I will be uploading a combo video shortly as well. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, check out our links in the description, give out some giveaways on the Facebook page sometimes. And yeah, Kong's card, ChainBlock 5, and peace.